welcome to Star Wars for 100 days. That's right, I'm making 100 Star Wars videos, all leading up to the release of Star Wars The Force Awakens. Today I'm going to talk about a key scene from Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Before you guys leave, just hear me out. I know that Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace is probably seen as the least successful Star Wars film of all time, especially to the fan base, and I kind of have to agree. It is definitely my least favorite film in the franchise. However, I do have some favorite scenes and characters from this film, and today I'm going to talk about one of those. I'm going to talk about the pod racing sequence. Without a doubt, my favorite scene from Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, was indeed the pod racing sequence. I loved every second of it. It was truly classic Star Wars, and what I really loved about most of it was just how creative it was, especially the pod racers themselves. If you actually don't know what pod racing is, well, it's this incredibly dangerous backwoods space sport where apparently they take these pods, which are propelled by anti-gravity. They're connected to these two gigantic engines of death, which are held together by this power coupling of plasma energy. And apparently, they like to race with these things. It's really dangerous. In fact, almost every single race, at least according to the history of Star Wars, a pod racer will lose their life in an incredibly explosive crash. And that brings us to the pod racing sequence from Star Wars Episode 1, which featured the key character of Anakin Skywalker racing for his freedom against a group of ridiculous aliens, one in particular by the name of Sebulba, who wanted to do nothing more than to choke his stupid little neck out. But what I really loved about this sequence, again, was just the creativity, the actual look of all of the different aliens. They were all completely different from one another, and they all had their own stylings and ships. And what I really loved about the sequence was just how breakneck it was, how intense it was. I was at the edge of my seat in that theater watching that sequence for the first time, and I really enjoyed it. And I know that the sequence was successful because my dad was watching with me, and he does not like Star Wars whatsoever. But I remember as we were leaving the theater, he said that he loved the pod racing sequence. He had a lot of fun watching that, and a lot of that probably has to do with the fact that he himself is a big fan of NASCAR and racing in general, so we definitely had a lot of common ground in enjoying the pod race sequence. But the main reason that I really enjoyed the pod racing so much was because right after the movie was released, they also released a video game tie-in, which was called Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. It was released on the N64, and my mother got it for me as a gift. I spent the entire summer of 1999 playing this incredibly difficult game and getting to know all of the amazing pod racers and their backstory. And because of that, I'm going to give you guys a little bonus today. We're going to do my top 10 favorite pod racers. Let's go ahead and start with number 10. Number 10 is the three-eyed Mahonic, who unfortunately was taken out very quickly in the race by Sebulba. By quickly, I mean he was the very first racer that was taken out. Number 9 is the multi-armed Gascano. I really don't have much to say about this guy, aside from the fact that he has a lot of limbs, and they really come in handy when he's pod racing. Number 8 is Mars Glow, and that's only because he makes this one funny noise in the pod race. He kind of sounds like, "Row!" Haha, funny lizard people are funny. Number 7 goes to the green and amphibian-looking Elon Mack, who's not only an amazing pod racer, but in the expanded universe of the series, he went on to become a crime lord. Number 6 is the dog-looking Teamto Pangeles. He might be most remembered for being shot down by the Tusken Raiders, and hhis pod flipped up in the air going, "Woo!" My number 5 choice goes to Aldar Beto. Despite the fact that he looks very malnourished and incredibly skinny, he's a very accomplished assassin. My number 4 choice goes to Dudbolt, who is Sebulba's right-hand man, and he also happens to be a weird, goofy-looking pachydermic rhinoceros riding in a go-kart. That's really all I like about him. Next up is Rats Terrell, a character who unfortunately did not survive his appearance in Star Wars Episode 1 when he unfortunately crashed in a cave. What's really sad about his story is that his wife and children were there watching the entire time. Next up is the grand champion of the pod racing circuit. I'm talking about Sebulba. I don't know what it is about this character, but I think he's really inventive. I love his design, especially the overall look of his pod racer, which actually has a flamethrower that will explode out from the engines. And last but not least, my favorite pod racer of all time is Neva Key, this weird, creepy-looking little gremlin guy who technically barely even appears at all in Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. He is my favorite racer because he is who I always played as in Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. He also had one of the most unique pod racing designs, and he also happened to be really freaking fast. So if you want to learn a little bit more about the art of pod racing, rewatch Star Wars Episode 1, play Star Wars Episode 1 Racer on the N64, or try to find its later sequels which were released on Windows and on PlayStation. I really hope they bring them back in some capacity. They were a lot of fun. Before you guys leave today, please tell me your thoughts about the big pod race in Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Did you have a favorite scene, a favorite sequence, a favorite racer? Did you actually ever play the video game version? Please tell me in the comment section below, and also tell me what you hope to see in the brand new movie Star Wars The Force Awakens. Thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to like it, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. That way you can see all of our latest anime and manga reviews. Thank you guys again for watching, and as always, may the Force be with you.